Welcome to the Kool, the Kareem Matthews podcast. I'm Kareem Matthews, and today we got my boy on here again, my Ramley point guard extraordinaire, Mr. Rodney Lusain.
Round two, baby. Let's go.
Now we had to do it again. So we here now, a week, a day after the championship games happened. The championship games went down last night, so I wanted to get your take on that. I want to start with the AFC, man. That Bills Chiefs game. Well, first let me get your thoughts before I partake. What?
Yeah, I'm always feeling like I'm in the minority because I was rooting for the Chiefs. I was, sitting there watching with my daughter who was rooting for the Bills, and I'm sitting there, hoping Pat Mahomes come through. And she's like, "Why are you rooting for the Chiefs?" And I'm like, "Well, for one, because the Bills ain't never won, and if you ain't never won, I don't want you never to win." And for two, like I can appreciate what the Chiefs is doing. Like I feel like we saw this come from the ground floor. Like they did it. I feel like the right way. So she was like, the Chiefs is arrogant. I don't like Pat Mahomes. I don't like Travis Kelsey. And I was just like, yeah. To me, when you going for a three-peat, you could be arrogant. Like I don't even know if it's arrogance, but the way they dominating, it's like, all right, we got to get them their flowers, however they want them. If they want to snatch their mugs, go on to snatch them. Like whatever you want to do, KC, it's your world right now.
Nah, man, you said it right there. Because it's funny when you said I'm in the minority. Because I was like, well, I'm actually with you. You know what I'm saying? And I've been feeling the same way that it is kind of the minority opinion. Because I was arguing with somebody else. I mean, since we not, it's hard for me to first. I got to get over that we not in it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like before I can even root for somebody or even have an unbiased opinion, I got to get over the fact that we not in it. You know what I'm saying? And then once I was able to get over that fact, I don't know, I hate how this sounds, but I'm always rooting for the black QB. You know what I'm saying? That's my other angle. And somebody was arguing with me that Pat Mahomes is not black. I was like, you clearly don't remember his dad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because his dad is as black as you want to get. You know what I mean? So nah, but I totally feel you on all that. Like we've never seen a three-peat before. You know what I'm saying? I would love to see that. Like to me, they the microwave version of the Patriots.
Right.
Like they doing what the Patriots did in 20 years, in 10 years. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like, and I love that for Pat Mahomes, man. And then, like you were saying, how the Bills ain't won nothing. For me, you gotta earn that. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta earn us just hopping on your bandwagon. Like, look, Mahomes keep doing this to these dudes, yo. Like Lamar and Josh Allen. Like I knew I picked this in our pool exactly like this. I said the Ravens would get to the Bills, and the Bills would beat the Ravens, and then the Chiefs would beat the Bills. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like how Jordan had dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like you knew Detroit wasn't gonna win. Like it was like you knew because of him, dudes had certain barriers that they was gonna get to and not be able to get over, you know? And I feel like Buffalo is right there with their barrier, and Lamar haven't even gotten that far. You know what I'm saying? Lamar haven't even gotten to where Josh Allen is right now. Josh Allen keep beating his head against that wall. Lamar's not even there yet. So
Right.
nah, I'm definitely rooting for the Chiefs. And then like in the bowl, on paper, it looked like the Eagles. You know what I mean? On paper, the Eagles got the better roster, but how in the world can you bet against KC? Like that, you know what I'm saying?
That's my angle. Until they beat that dude, like I feel like I did it enough with Brady. I kept
Mm.
betting against Brady. Kept
But
being
see,
like,
with that, a couple times it was against us. You know what I'm saying? Which totally takes all clarity away. Like you couldn't even look at that objectively twice because it was again. And then because they beat us twice, I couldn't look at them objectively the other times. When it
right.
was against anybody else, I just wanted them to lose. I couldn't even.
Yeah.
I mean, so
Right.
now this is the first time I can really look at a dynasty objectively. because they ain't really had nothing against us. You know what I'm
True.
saying? It's
Right.
all been I all just been able to look at it like, nah, they actually really good. Like they just know how to win games. When it was the Patriots doing it, I was like, man, they cheated us. Like it was always something where you couldn't even look at them objectively. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I mean, people is talking about the Chiefs is cheating now and the refs is in on it and whatnot, but I mean, I
Remember, they
guess
used to say that against the Lakers. They used to say that with the Lakers, that the
right,
games was fixed in Sacramento. You know what I'm saying? The losing team always gonna be able to point to that. You know what I
right,
mean? So I can't even get that no credence. And it's
right.
funny because off camera, we was talking about these QBs not finishing their moment. You know what I'm saying? And you were saying how you wanted Stafford to finish that moment
Uh,
against
Philly.
against the Eagles. But it's like Josh Allen. I was thinking about him when we had that conversation. Like he had a moment. All they needed was a field goal. They didn't even need a touchdown. You know what I'm saying? It's like you these moments don't keep coming. You
Right,
know what I'm saying?
right,
You you fortunate to keep getting a chance at these moments. Like it's no guarantee that you gonna at some point. You know what I'm saying? You got to capitalize on this. You know what I
right.
mean? This was another time where he fell short. Like,
And he really did fall short this time. Like I felt like years past when we was talking, I was like, well, that year where KC went and tied it up with 13 seconds left, it's like what you want him to do. He like, dude, I left the field with the lead or us
in
tied.
13 seconds.
Right. They had the lead that time. But right, yesterday it was like, nah, Josh, go get us this field goal. If not the
Only
touchdown.
a field, right? But only a field goal minimum. I mean, again, the tight end dropped the pass, and it's my thing is it's always gonna be excuses when you don't complete the mission. You know what I'm saying? Like when you complete the mission, then you don't have to come up with all that. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. Like it's a ton of excuses for Josh Allen. It's a ton of excuses for Lamar Jackson. You know what I'm saying? It's like what you want him to do. It's like, well, you needed to do a little bit more. Like you never say that with Pat Mahomes. And his numbers don't even be great. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like he may not even throw for 200 yesterday. You know what I mean? But he whatever play was out there that needed to be made, he made it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, your numbers is cool. Like getting the numbers is cool, but at some point you got to figure out how to get the W. You know what I mean? And that's what these dudes.
Right. I mean, and it's kind of the opposite of what you were saying with the Patriots, where they beat the Rams twice, so automatically biased. Like Pat Mahomes got two chips against the Niners.
Oh yeah,
As a Ram fan,
and the Eagles.
oh right, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Um, and it's a trip because I was thinking back yesterday. I was like, dude, I was actually rooting for Philly against New England, just to put in
mm,
context how much I hated New England. Like for me to root
right,
for Philly,
right.
I mean,
Nah, and they didn't do it, which made us hate them even more. Like, see, I
oh
root
no,
for
no.
y'all.
Well, the second time they did,
Oh, with
Philly,
foes.
right,
Oh, with
right.
foes.
Yeah, that one with To, I don't remember. I don't remember
Mm,
what I was feeling that. I mean, I'm sure I was rooting for Philly.
right, right. I
Whatever.
forgot about that foes because he was at the game. He was
Right,
at the game this weekend.
right. Yeah, I
That's
saw that. Getting
yeah,
dapped
that
up by LaShawn McCoy.
huh?
Getting dapped up by LaShawn McCoy. That's the
Mm.
clip I saw.
And Brady shouted him out.
Ah,
Brady's like, I'm not mad at you, I'm jealous.
mm.
Because
Really?
that's what Brady said. Because I guess supposedly they think it's beef. You know what I'm saying? Because you know how Brady is.
Right. Nah.
But but yeah, nah. So on to that game though, to the Philly Commanders game. I'm like, man, we get that wasn't the NFC Championship was our game. You know what I'm saying? And that's the same thing last year. Like it was us in Detroit. Like the best games don't even be the NFC Championship game. I'm like, dude, we gave Philly their best fight the whole run. like again, like we were saying off camera, you were saying Philly fans was telling you they thought they was gonna lose.
Right.
You know what I'm
Tough.
saying?
Yeah.
It was we had them that bad. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And now they celebrating in the streets because they just blew the Commanders. It wasn't even, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that kind of makes it a little bit tougher to take for me, man. Like,
Really?
oh, that we was that close?
I mean,
It,
yesterday, for whatever reason, made it easier for me. Like
mm,
I felt I felt a little bit like I felt like I finally started to come to grips with it yesterday.
that they're
Like
good or
that they
come to grips.
deserve it. Like it's their moment. Like
I mean, I felt that. I did. I definitely felt that, but I felt like this could have been our moment. Like we was that close to it being our moment. If we was that close to Philly and they routed the Commanders like that, we would have won that game.
for
You
sure.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We
And
would
that's
have
true.
won that game.
But like kind of like we said before, the Rams played the Eagles. We was like, if it's A game versus A game, if we play our A game, Philly play their A game, then Philly wins.
Nah,
And they can play an A game against us partially because of
we
what.
didn't either though.
Right,
We turned it
right,
over, and they didn't.
right.
And they were saying like the teams left, none of them had turned it over coming into yesterday. And
Wow.
then the Commanders turned it over 4 times. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? And that right there made me really start rethinking Kyron because he's don't turn it over.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And if that's one thing you can eliminate that's gonna make you go up a level, we got to look at that because right now where we at, it's the fine tuning that's gonna make us that much better. Like we a 10-win team. That next step is hard to take. You know what I'm saying? To where we want to go. Like that next step, we'll win one more game next year.
right.
And for what they were saying is you can't turn it over. Like Stafford can turn his off. Stafford will turn it over, but when it's time, he will not. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We've never seen Kyron not fumble. Like Kyron, you can't fumble these next 3 games. Like, can you do that? You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it has to be. Because like with Stafford, he can do that. Like he can be a turnover machine early, then down the stretch, he'll be like, okay, I know. You know what I'm saying? But Kyron, and when they were saying that yesterday about these all 4 of these teams have not turned the ball over, I was like, ooh, we kind of got a guaranteed turnover dude in our lineup. You know what I'm saying? Like he has a
Yeah. And I'm not a big Kyron fan. And I feel like he only fumbled. Well, shit, I feel he fumbled what? We lost 3, 4 maybe of his fumbles. I feel like maybe he fumbled 5 times.
this year.
Right. Because who was I
You don't
arguing
think
with?
that's a lot though?
I don't.
Mm.
I feel like Dickerson. Like I was arguing with somebody about
No,
just the
Dickerson
greatest back.
fumbled too. No,
And I brought up Marcus Allen. I was like, dude, Marcus Allen don't get his props for being like top 10. Like he ain't, he very rarely gets mentioned. But I'm like, to me, he's top 5, top 6. And the dude I was talking to was like, yeah, but he fumbles too much. And so we end up on the spot, like fact checking it, pulling up on the internet, looking to see how many times he fumbled. And turns out he didn't fumble as much as dude made it seem like. But I mean, he had probably, I want to say the number was like 68.
for his career.
Right.
Mm.
And so I don't know. I just feel like we've lived as Ram fans, we've lived with backs who put it on the ground.
Absolutely. And
But
we never won with them.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? And we never won with those backs. We didn't start winning to Marshall. And Marshall
right.
never fumbled.
Yeah, Cam put it on the ground though that year we won it.
Who
Like
did?
I think that's the outlier. Like
Who did? Cam?
Cam Akers. He
Yeah.
fumbled. he fumbled against Tampa in the
He was a
divisional round.
fumbler.
Right. He fumbled twice, matter of fact, in that
He was a
divisional round.
fumbler. Nah, on the goal line too. And I
Right.
feel like that's why he not here.
Right.
And we
And
wasn't really leaning on him like we lean on Kyron.
true.
Like it was more Stafford and the receivers that year. Like
Right.
Cam was more complimentary. You know what I'm saying? Like in those backs you was talking about Dickerson, Wendell Tyler, like we leaned on them. Like
Right.
Dickerson was all we had. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Right.
So I don't know. Like, I'm a Kyron fan too. And it wasn't until yesterday when they mentioned the fact that none of these teams have turned the ball over that I was like, can we go all the way with knowing Kyron can't go more than 3 games without putting it on the ground? Because even if you say he fumbled 5, 6 times, that's about once every 3 games.
Right.
And to go all the way, you know what I'm saying? It's 3 or 4 games, depending on how you get in.
Right.
So
Mhm.
again, I'm not saying we got to get rid of Kyron. I'm still, if we bring Kyron back, I'm no problem at all. I just feel like we got to start looking at the margins of where we gonna be able to get better. We don't have no drastics, you know what I mean? It ain't no big gaping hole that we like. If we feel this, because we good, you know what I mean? So it's
Right.
got to be little things that we can do to make it, and turning it over sounds like one. If we
Nah,
can
for
cut down
sure.
our turn.
For sure. I'm like I said, with yesterday in Philly, seeing them put that game on the field, like I didn't even see the game. We was at Green Meadows
Right,
hooping during most of that game. So
right,
I just
right.
saw the score. I think I saw a little bit of the beginning. I know they came out. I know Saquon housed the first touch and it was 14-3, and it's like, all right, damn, they about to run Washington out. Then Washington came back a little bit and kept it competitive, and then Philly just went on and put it away. So I'm just assuming they played an A-level game, and
Nah,
I just some part of me just feels like if I know my team's best is not as good as your team's best, even though we let y'all off the hook, for some whatever
right.
reason, it makes it easier for me to digest when I know, all right, they went on ahead. Like if they had fumbled and bumbled and if they had looked beatable yesterday,
Yeah,
then
nah,
I
they
would have
did
I
not
would have
look
been more upset.
they did not look beatable yesterday. But what made me mad was I felt like we could have beat them. Like we was the ones that exposed them during this whole run, and we didn't finish the deal. You know what I'm saying? The night it happened, I was proud of us. I wasn't looking at it like, oh my God. I was like, yeah, damn, we was close. But then seeing what they did to the Commanders, I was like, dude, it was us. It was up to us. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, now I feel like, well, yeah. So I was gonna get into the Super Bowl, but yeah, let's discuss that. Like, I think KC gonna win the Super Bowl. Like, I don't know. I think the line is out. I think KC might be like a slight favorite. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
I saw them -2.
Okay, yeah, yeah. But I think if I had to bet, I mean, and in which I probably will, I think I think I'm gonna be rolling with KC until you beat. I mean, they just beat the Chiefs and the Eagles in the Super Bowl a couple years ago
Right.
with these two same QB. I mean, they didn't have Saquon though. That's the one. You know what I mean?
Nah, and I'm trying to remember who they backs was because when you was talking about the Rams got to improve on the margins, I was like, Philly was kind of in this boat for the last 2 years, and then they was like, Saquon.
Right. Nah, it's funny because they just was talking about that. DeAndre Swift and one another back that was cool.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Kyron-esque.
Right, and probably more explosive.
Right.
So I want to say he went to Carolina, but
Mm,
both the backs they had before Saquon got deals with other squads.
mm,
Swift was the dude with the Bears.
right.
And he
Who
was
hurt
cool.
us? He hurt us this season.
Right, he was cool. And then the other dude, Miles something Turner, Miles.
Gaskin? No.
Nah, something. But yeah, nah, that's a great point. That's exactly what they did. You know what I'm saying? They didn't need a back. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And behind that line, and that's what they were saying. Behind that line, those backs were cool. But they were like, you put Saquon behind that line, and then that line opens holes, and then he breaks 3 tackles. You know what I'm saying? That leads to 70-yard runs. You know what I'm saying? While those other dudes was just using the holes that they opened to get what they was getting. You know what I mean? It was just the
Right.
perfect, it was the peanut butter and jelly effect of that
Yeah.
line and him.
Nah, because I liked that Philly squad a lot that lost to KC a couple of years ago. Like, I mean, they beat the Niners in the NFC
Mm.
Championship game, and that's always, you know, the
Feather in
direct
the cap,
the
right?
direct path to my heart is through the Rams, but you can take a roundabout way and deal with the Niners and end up at my heart just the same. So
Right. Nah, I
I
feel
didn't
that.
I wasn't rooting for Philly in that Super Bowl, but I was like, this is a good team. Like, and then
And they might be better now. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? This team is probably better than that team because they got Saquon. And I don't think they had Carter, but if they did, he was a rookie. But he definitely wasn't the dude he is now.
right,
You know what I'm saying? He's a
right,
monster now. So on paper, they better. You know what I'm saying? They got a better, they're deeper than KC. You know what I'm saying? But KC don't play on paper. You know what I'm saying? They make every play. And somebody else was saying that like you don't even know these dudes that Pat Mahomes are throwing to. Like he was like, I don't even remember Hollywood Brown was with the Chiefs. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Because he hadn't played basically all season. Like
right,
he hooking up backup tight ends like Kareem Hunt. They just brought
right.
him in off the street.
Cooking with Juju,
Right, that's another dude he brought up. Juju, like, come on, he was on the scrap heap. You know
right,
what I'm saying? So
right,
on paper, you would say Philly, but QB and coach, they got clear advantage. You know what I'm
true,
saying? Clear
true.
advantage.
Right. Nah, and I feel like Buffalo's offense, because it's a trip, because that pool we in,
Mm-hmm.
it was only two dudes who picked Philly KC, and it's me
Mm.
and this other dude.
Oh, you got that?
Yeah, I'm in first place. And I was
You
crunching the
got
numbers
that.
earlier today, and I was like, all right, it's really only one dude who can catch me. Like, I'm guaranteed a tie for first.
Mm.
If Philly win, I'll be tied for first. If KC wins, I win.
Mm.
So I'm sitting there
Okay.
looking at it, and I'm like, all right, it could come down to the tiebreaker. And I saw a dude picked 54 points combined for the game.
Mm.
I picked 48. So now I'm
Mm.
sitting there thinking, like, because I know Philly can. I feel like, I mean, KC is comfortable playing a 20 to 23-point game. Like, they not going to trip if it's 17 apiece coming in the fourth quarter.
All right. That 30 they scored was the first time they scored 30 all year.
Serious.
Yeah, that yesterday. That's their first 30-point game all year. So
Wow.
nah, they actually won it in the 20s. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Damn. That is crazy.
I know. And they here.
Right. And I was like, all right, they gonna be in the 20s. The question is where the Eagles gonna be. And I feel like if they kept Buffalo at 29, because I feel like Buffalo, as dope as Saquon is, I mean, he don't touch the ball every play like Josh Allen do. So whatever reason, I just feel like Buffalo is more explosive than Philly.
Mm,
And I feel like if KC could hold Buffalo to 29, then they can
mm,
hold Philly in the 20s as well.
mm.
So I don't know what the total is. I think I saw the totals.
In the 50s, I think,
It is. Because
which is very high.
for whatever reason, I feel like I'm talking myself into an under bet.
Nah, you talking me into one. Because I'm like, I mean, again, KC is very comfortable playing in the 20s. And like you said, if they held Buffalo to 29 with Josh Allen is Saquon-ish and he touches every play,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Right. With
Nah,
the unexpected stuff that quarterbacks can do, like, you know,
throw.
right.
Like throw. Saquon ain't throwing no passes, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's the
Right.
thing. You can bottle Saquon up for 80% of the time. It's that 20% when he break that 70-yard run that breaks your back. You know what I'm saying? So if KC can avoid that, because it's not like Saquon is getting in every carry. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like even we was balling him up pretty good.
Right.
But it's those long runs that he break. You know what I'm saying? So that analysis right there on how the pace of the game is gonna go was right on point. You know what I'm saying? Like I like
Mm.
that. That does sound very underish. And then it's the bowl. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Where teams are just trying to win this game. Like they'll throttle it down real quick.
Mm.
The last Super Bowl they went over though. It was
Philly and
like
KC.
yeah, it was like
Right.
35-31 or something like that. They were both in the 30s, but
Right.
this is not that same KC team. That was their
Right.
first 30-point game was yesterday. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they are definitely more comfortable in the 20s. You know what I mean?
And then you give Steve Spagnuolo 2 weeks to
Mm.
try to put something together. Like, I mean, Spags, he's as an assistant, as a defensive coordinator, he's damn near he's,
Unbeatable.
he's in the GOAT conversation. Right.
He's in his lane right now. This is what
Right.
he do. You know what I'm saying? He
Right.
has the perfect amount of responsibility, yo. Like,
Right.
nah, that's another reason. That's an advantage for them. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like all the little stuff on the margins is for them. Like the roster stuff, that's the Eagles. Like pure talent, they got, you know what I'm saying? They got that. But all the little things that for a one game scenario is what the Chiefs got what you would want. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Cause
No,
nah,
I mean,
Spags.
if you're looking at the league, the conference championship games, and you see Philly put up a double nickel, then that's going. So I'm thinking Joe Public is going to ride that wave. Like, damn, we just saw Philly put up 55,
They gonna do that again.
right? And
Which they not.
and the perception is KC's
For
an
high
offensive
flying
team,
team.
right?
Right. Right.
And I didn't even know the 30-point thing. I'm just like I'm looking at them the last 2 seasons and it's like, yeah, they not the squad they used to be. I mean, they barely got receivers now. Like they had even worse receivers last year, I feel like, than they got this year.
Right now, because Worthy is cool, but he's still not fully grown yet. There's only a few little things that he can do, but he does give them a Tyreek-ish feel. You know what I mean? But nah, on the low, they a defensive team now.
Right.
Chris Jones, that secondary. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Jesse
They
Karlafskis.
right. Nah, that's what I'm saying. Because I don't even think Mahomes threw for 200 yards yesterday.
Mm.
I'm saying like they don't want a high scoring game. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, you just talk me into the under, yo. you know?
And then, who's KC's coach? Big Red?
Reed.
Yeah.
Andy Reid.
I mean, I feel like that's a
He moved
Philadelphia story. Like
and
they keep getting to the bowl, and because they was trying to get rid of your boy, that's the coach now. I don't,
Sirianni.
right. I don't remember the circumstances around Andy Reid leaving Philly, but I'm like, if it's anything like what's going on now, then it was some BS. He shouldn't have been chased out. And so now y'all get to the bowl twice in 3 years, and who the hell's sitting there waiting on y'all? The
Oh,
coach
yeah.
y'all kicked out. And
Nah, that's another great story that's another great reason to root for KC, how they did him and now he gets to do them. You know what I'm saying? But nah, they were saying Sirianni, if he hadn't got here, he was gonna get fired. Remember they were saying him and Buffalo's coach, both of them needed to get to the Super Bowl. They was gonna be on the hot seat. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And Buffalo's coach didn't get there. And so they are bringing that up. Like, okay, like have they gotten as far as they gonna get with him? You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I mean, you know,
Yeah, that would be a mistake. I
letting him
mean,
go.
go on and do you, Buffalo, but he ain't the reason y'all losing to KC. I
Yeah,
mean,
nah,
that's
nah, but
like the Knicks firing Pat Riley back in the 90s because they couldn't get past Jordan. Like, they
Jordan,
didn't do that. Like, they was just like, dude, he's him. Like,
right. We just gonna have to keep banging our head against this wall.
right, right. Ain't nobody else figured out a way to beat the dude either. So we gonna
Uh-huh.
fire you because you can't beat Pat Mahomes. Like, that's the one dude in the league you ain't figured out how to beat.
So you lose your job.
Right. Get in line, dude. There's a whole line of dudes that ain't figured out how to beat that man. So go on
Nah.
and do you, Buffalo, if that's what y'all gonna do. But he ain't
Yeah,
doing
nah, I wouldn't do that either. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't do that either. I mean, Sirianni saved his job too, so it looked like the coaching carousel has probably ended. You
it.
know what I mean?
Sirianni be, I mean, he be doing, he be arguing with fans. Like
Right,
he's gruff. Like
right,
he's not as polished as
right.
McDermott. Like McDermott ain't did nothing. He just work hard, coach, and come up short
Some of
against
his coaching
Rodney.
decisions, you know what I'm saying, they have been questioned. But nah, you right, you right. Sirianni got other stuff
So,
that's making them not like him. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right. So nah, if KC get it done, I mean, part of me don't want to see that happen. I I feel like they've won enough, but if I got to choose between KC and Philly or Buffalo, like my perfect scenario yesterday would have been Commanders.
And Bills.
Nah, Commanders and Chiefs in the bowl, I think would have been cool. Would have created a situation where I was like, all right, I'm cool with either. I would have wanted Washington to win, but I'm cool with either. Bottom line, anybody that got more Super Bowls than the Rams, I don't want them adding to that because I'm feeling
Mm,
like, dude, we was about to chase. When we won ours, KC, I think we was tied at 2 when we won
mm.
ours. KC had 2, we had 2,
Right, right.
and I'm looking at it because I'm like, all right, Ram, who's next? Like, who can the Rams catch?